Enabled. Hey, good morning, YouTube. Good to have you along here today. If you're watching this as a rerun, you can skip ahead about 16, 17 minutes until we start the actual program. Until then, you got me on the pre-show just sitting here BSing about life's struggles is what it is. So there you go. Oh, baby. Last day of August. What did Todd Anderson have to send me this morning? So there you go. Let's see here. YouTube. Time. Boom. Okay. Well, I suppose I'm trying something different this morning. Morning, Waylon. Morning, Josh. Morning, Brian. I'm trying something different today. This is still the same. I'm still doing my ivermectin. I got you. Who was it? I can't remember. Somebody gave me a hard time about being the guy that does ivermectin. The same person that got supposedly got COVID. I don't know if it's COVID or not. They say it's COVID. Anyway, I haven't gotten it. Okay. Anyway, ivermectin has been used around the world for many, many, many things, for many, many, many years. And yet to this day, they still these people believe that I'm killing myself. Well, I guess there you go. I think I'm killing myself more by using Lord to mix it with. Cheers, by the way. Morning, Mike Wagner. Good morning. Magic Mike. The difference this morning is I always take that shot every Saturday morning. You guys have been witnessing this forever. Morning, Dave, Minnesota. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Thank you. Karen, good morning. Hope all is well in the great city of Mobridge. Anyway, the difference this morning, I have a glass of grapefruit juice. So I had a craving the other day. I had a board meeting in Dickinson. And I went to Cashwise Food, and I went in there for just one reason. I picked up a jug of grapefruit juice. So instead of water, grapefruit juice this morning. So there you go. I like it. Ooh. Doesn't go well with ivermectin, but still tastes pretty good. And I take this back. I don't know if I'm getting nostalgic in my older age or not. Waylon, you're the same age as me. Maybe you can attest to this or not. So I've been tasting and smelling certain things in my life that take me back to when I was a kid. And for some reason, I had this craving for grapefruit juice. And I remember my mom we used to cut the grapefruits in half. And then she'd take a knife and slice each individual little triangle, sprinkle it with sugar. And that was, I would say breakfast. We always ate at like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. And for some reason, that stuck in my head that I needed grapefruit juice. So here I am. The only problem is I can't find where my wife keeps sugar. So I'd like to put some sugar in this to make me go back to like when I was a kid, but still getting the same thing. Then at the end, after you ate this, you'd take a spoon, you'd scoop out these little triangle chunks of grapefruit, and then you'd squeeze the damn thing at the end and try to get as much juice as you could out of it. Mr. Bulgy, good morning. Tim, a few weeks ago, there was a mention of Rainier beer being sold in Montana. Is it available in Weibo? I don't know about that. Maybe Mr. J. Berg is listening this morning on YouTube and can attest. Do they sell Rainier in Weibo? I would think, they got it in Baker. I don't know. I'll be in Weibo next Thursday, though. I'll be up there next Thursday for the auction sale, so we'll see. Mr. Bulgy, Brian Warner, you're going to make me want some of my grandma's bitter Watkins nectar. Jim, good morning. I'm not sure what that bitter Watkins nectar, I'm not sure what that is. I don't know what's happening to me. You know, Waylon, you say, yeah, some things coming up in your mind, like the Church Bazaar sausage last week, grapefruit juice. Did you know that Dr. McGillicuddy's cherry tastes like Luden's cough drops when I was a kid? What's going on with me? This is part of getting old. My mom had the same with your mom did the same thing with grapefruit. Yeah, yeah. Now I watch my wife. You know, total different grapefruit eating. Like she will peel it and do it like slices of oranges, like actual like I don't know what you call them, little pieces of oranges. Way different than when I was growing up here. Morning, Mr. Bear. Anyway, what the hell's going on? Oh, I better call John. I see I get off on these tangents. This is why I still do radio to this day. I can sit and BS. I can talk to myself, for crying out loud. Of course, I do need expert advice once in a while. Got to fix this. All right. Got to tighten this one up. There we go. Tighten this one up. Hey, see, now it works. All right, better get through these here. I grand the cough drops. So used to. So, Josh, I better call John here quick. Josh, I'll tell you the story here. Don't worry. Where are we at? There we are. Turn that down for you guys. Got a story about that.
Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Oh, I'd say I'm a little hungover, but it might be a little more than a little.
So
opening weekend and Birdsong killed one, so we celebrated.
Nice. Well, that's all right. So we're talking on my YouTube channel here, and we're going through a few things.
Okay.
All right, and we're talking about right now. For some reason, in the last couple months, I've been reminiscing. Like certain smells have remind me of being a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Certain tastes remind me of being a kid. And I was talking about Luden's cough drops taste a lot like Dr. McGillicuddy cherry liquor to me right now. It's, right? And this Josh is agree on the cough drops. We used to eat them like candy. So I was flowing down to Sioux Falls to do an auction sale down there on Monday, Tuesday. And we were discussing, Andy Murdoch and I were discussing, when is the earliest you remember being alive? And mine was, and Josh, you're going to like this. My mom and dad used to go to like Bismarck Mandan once every like 3 months. And when they came back, they had a ton of groceries. They would buy a lot of stuff local and flasher, but once every 3 months, they would make the big trip. And I remember Dad coming with a bag of groceries in each arm, and he knelt down, and in his top shirt pocket, he had a box of Luden's cough drops, and that was my treat. Right? That was my treat. Yeah, we ate them like candy because they tasted like candy. And to this day, Dr. McGillicuddy's cherry reminds me of that. So when it comes to coyote hunting season, I have a bottle of Dr. McGillicuddy's in the back seat, and every time I kill a coyote, I take a kill shot, and it takes me back to my dad. That's the earliest I remember being alive. I don't even know what age I was. I have no idea. We never kept track of that back then. So
no, that's pretty cool. I think it's getting tougher and tougher to remember. As I was a kid, now I'm getting too old. It's like I have faint memories, things that have locked in my head, that I remember.
Yeah.
But I wish there was something you could go in that time machine and you could go back.
All right, stations 7:00 on Mark. I've been watching this. There is a couple, I believe, out of Minot. Anyway, they will come to your place and sit down with your grandparents, your folks, whoever, and video and ask them questions about stories, and they'll sit all day And they'll do
Wow.
this and they'll put it on, whether it's a flash drive or maybe you want it on a DVD or whatever. They'll give it to the family so they don't lose those stories.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, think about that. I wish I would have done that with my dad here. All right. All right, we got some comments here before we get going. Brian says, little bottle liquid to make juice, prelude to Kool-Aid, but grandma never used enough sugar. It was like drinking an Easter egg dye. Yeah. Gene Cox, drink grapefruit. So this morning I switched it. Instead of water, I had a hankering for grapefruit juice, so I went and got some grapefruit juice. And he says, drink grapefruit juice behind cottage cheese. It'll make it taste better. Mm-hmm. That's like brushing your teeth and trying to drink something. Darren Mund, I have grapefruit spoon. Can't eat it like I used to because of gout. Really? I did not know that. Maybe I'm going to in for a long date here today. Jesse Flath, lemon drops, root beer barrels, hard striped candy in a dish on top of a big box cabinet TV is what he remembers.
Yep. I remember that at my grandparents. They had hard candy like that.
Yeah. I remember root beer barrels. I don't know what lemon drops are, or hard striped candy. I don't know what that is.
My dad liked butterscotch.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah, butterscotch candies.
And I can't suck on a candy. I put it in my mouth and it takes about kind of like that lollipop commercial, 1 and a 2 and crunch.
you chew them?
I gotta chew them. My dad was the same way. He couldn't. He'd be chewing them.
Do you remember a candy called bottle caps?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, I love those things.
And those were good. I was trying to tell kids. I was trying to tell kids. I said I was trying to teach them the days of the week. And when we were a kid, everybody knew what Saturday was because that was the only freaking day there was a cartoon.
Absolutely. You got up, milk cows, got to watch cartoons.
Yeah, you got to watch the cartoons, and these kids watch cartoons every day, so they don't even know when Saturday is. Saturday was cartoon. Sunday was church.
That's right.
Pretty easy.
That's right.
And the rest of the week was work.
Yeah. The days you took Sundays off. I remember those. Yeah. The years we used to do that.
We used to go travel. That's one thing that we don't do anymore is we're in such a hurry that we don't go see our relatives. I've got relatives 20 miles away. And when my grandpa was alive and stuff, we'd go there every weekend. And now I haven't seen them in 25, 30 years, and they're right there. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I go by it and I say we should stop, and we don't. And I feel, I have to. I stopped at a gentleman's house the other day because he's in his 90s now, and he's one of the first guys that let me bow hunt on his place when I was a kid. And he's just the nicest man. And I just when I took the kids there all the time when we had them, so we'd go visit them. And I stopped there last year for the first time in probably 15 years. I'm hoping he had as much fun as I did because I hadn't seen him in such a long time.
Yeah. We used to, we always, we milk cows. So we used to have people come and drop by our place all the time. And we had a pair of horseshoe pegs out in the yard, right underneath the yard light. And I remember my dad and us, we used to sit there all night long with the neighbors and pitch horseshoe.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does that anymore.
No, you don't see it. And I enjoyed that. I just remember all the fun things what we used to do. Some of my earliest memories are my brother and I, before 4th of July, we would build mounds of dirt and pack mud and had army men everywhere. And then we blew the crap out of them when we got fired.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is very mean, and I know it sounds mean, but as kids, during the Independence holiday, we used to take firecrackers and catch snakes. And we'd force firecrackers in the snakes, and then we'd throw them into the water and watch them blow up. And I know that's bad, man. I know nowadays, oh, my God.
My brother one time, I got this young man trying to make a good impression on him, and he starts talking about when we were kids, and I'm looking at him like, shut up. And he goes, hey, you remember when we used to take airplane glue and put them on a snake and light them on fire? I'm like, I don't ever remember doing that. And I'm like, thanks, Russ. I said, I appreciate that.
Hey,
I forgot all about it, but we were terrible when we were kids. But we were kids,
right? We were boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I got to meet Kurt Schrader's brother last weekend at the Slope County
Keith?
Fair. Yeah, Keith
Keith?
was down.
Yeah, because he's good friends with Lamborn.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was good meeting him.
Yeah.
Say, John, we are 20 seconds of showtime, so stand by here. I'm going to go.
All right, buddy.
Going to go dark here. Okay, stand by stations. I don't know what lemon drops are. Story bulging. We'll get to that coming up. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors. Scott Bachmeyer with you here on a beautiful Saturday morning in the West Dakota Territory as we get things rolling here on the opening season of archery in North Dakota deer season, okay? And starting next week is the opening of archery for elk season. And so a lot of things going on here, archery and antelope. So we got a lot of things going on here. So I figured what better way to kick off the archery season is with John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. John, good morning.
Good morning, buddy.
So before the show started on the radio side of things, if people on the YouTube side have been listening to us reminisce about our youth and about certain things that take us back. What was the first, do you remember your first deer and what did you take it with? And how old were you?
I was 14, a 243, and he was running across. I remember exactly where it was at. He was running across the field. I missed him the first shot, and then I shot him in the neck the second one. He's probably a 100-inch buck, and and I still have it. My mom mounted it, put it on a plaque, and I still have it at home. Yep,
deal.
Still have it at home. So it was, like I said, it was pretty cool. Back then there was no fluffy little youth season for us kids. We had to hunt hunt the real way.
I was about
cold and miserable and had fun.
Yeah, I was the same age. Mine was a 1903 Springfield I bought for $50 with peep sights, and I flipped the peep sights up and took a guess, dialed it in, and it was a spike buck. And I even remember the pasture. And I could take you to the exact spot to this day where I shot it at. But my biggest memory of my first deer was when I brought it home. My dad had nothing to do with hunting. After being a sniper in the military, he wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So my mom and she showed me how to clean a deer and take care of it. So so that was my intro for that. It was my mom that took care of that stuff. So
that's pretty cool. My mom, my dad told a story about. I asked if mom ever hunted. He said one time, same 243, because it was one that we've had forever. She shot a whitetail and hit it in the back of the head. And when she walked up to it, that was the end of her hunting career.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she didn't like it, and she was a farm girl, but she just didn't like it.
Yeah, to different strokes for different folks, and we know that, and that's why a lot of people. So when somebody says we want to make an ethical kill, right?
Yeah.
With an ethical shot, what is that to certain people? It might be different from one to the next.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you think about it, you're just trying to kill an animal the best you can. You don't want to hit it in the butt. You don't want to hit. I mean, things happen. So some guys, I still know guys that shoot them in the neck.
Take them down right away. Boom.
Take them down right away. Yep. Yeah. We shoot them behind the front shoulder. They do the mule kick and they run 50 yards or whatever, and then they tip over.
Right.
So I guess to me, the ethical part of it is more just taking a good shot. Shooting a running deer, unless you're really good at it, to me, it's not real ethical anymore because, when we were kids, we didn't know any better. But now, after I've been hunting, and some guys may be real good at it, but I think some guys just shoot. And when we were kids, we just wanted to get a bullet in it. And that, to me, when I look back at it now, it wasn't very ethical because we didn't care if we hit them in the hind quarter or whatever. They could have been going over a hill through the brush and we were launching bullets at them. And that's, but again, we used to push everything as kids. We used to make drives, So hunting has evolved a little bit, and I think we get a little smarter as we get older, hopefully.
Well, I remember the same growing up the same way. My oldest brother was the hunter, and going with him, that we used to push the draws, and we used to have 2 or 3 people sitting on point.
Yep.
That used to be the way, and we still might do that, probably pheasant hunting or anything, but I don't see a lot of people doing that style of hunting anymore because honestly, I don't think people walk that much anymore, John. Nobody puts
No.
the miles on anymore. They're just waiting for it to happen.
No.
Yeah.
We when we walk, if we're in an area like when we hunt Montana, some of these places with bigger landscapes, we'll put on 12 miles. When we used to hunt the reservation up in Mandaree, we put on 12 miles a day, but we would walk from point to point. We'd go from advantage point to advantage point, sit and glass and glass and glass, and then go to the next one, glass and glass. So we weren't trying to push anything. We were just going from spot to spot, trying to spot something.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that because you got to see a lot of country and you got some exercise while you're doing it too.
I know I tried tree stands. I've tried blinds, and I'd like to do something along that line this year. For my wife got her elk tag drawn, and I'd like to do something like that, but I get bored. I can't wait 14 hours in a blind for an antelope. I love spot and stalking, and I know I'm not always successful with my archery tag doing it that way. But I mean, I've been doing okay. I really have my archery tags. My rifle tags I've let go a couple years because of low deer numbers.
Yeah.
But I just enjoy the thrill of getting out there on foot and trying to outsmart, outwind them. Same thing with coyote hunting. And I know Jesse's listening here. I know John's listening. When I see coyotes walk away from us, I'm gone. I'm like chasing them down. I don't worry about trying to call them in. I'm going to go try to find them. And it might be 6 hours later, but I'll find at least one of those buggers,
Yeah. And like I said, it's fun. I know we do a lot of sitting because of filming, and we've done some spot and stock, and it definitely is a bigger thrill. I mean,
it's harder to film though, isn't it? I mean,
it's terrible.
Yeah.
When, talking to my daughter's boyfriend, Connor, who they do a ton of spot and stock. He went antelope hunting with us this year, and he sat in a blind, and he says he gets more rattled sitting in a blind because there's too much time to think about the animal coming.
That's true.
And he goes, when you're spotting and stalking, you got to range them. You see them, you sit up, you shoot. And when you watch them, Shelby shot her antelope. They sat 14 hours, 12 hours before they saw antelope, and she had a choice to sit the honey hole, which we see 100 antelope in a day, and she chose to go to the one place that had one antelope.
Yeah.
And the footage from the GoPro is absolutely priceless. Watching those two, they were both shaking. Shelby's usually pretty ice, and she said, I lost it, Dad. I completely lost it when that buck came in. And Connor lost it too. He said he was breathing so hard, and I said, that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. Well, then you see the real emotions on that. And
absolutely.
I agree with Connor. You don't have much time when you're spotting stalking. You lose the jitters because you're probably out of breath from walking or maybe belly crawling or doing something, right? Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So coming up after the break, we're going to talk. Do you remember your first archery deer? Or animal?
I do.
Okay. We'll talk about that. Waylon says his first deer was 14 years old, 25-06, a fork whitetail shot from the milking barn while milking. So
there you go.
So we're bringing back the memories of everybody around that's listening here. And I appreciate everybody. We're going to, Gene Cox says his first archer deer has yet to happen. So there's folks out there that haven't got theirs. There are people that have been young, old. We'll talk about that coming up on the backside of this break here. Dakota Prairie Outdoors brought to you by great people on great radio stations. The only thing this morning that is free of charge is listening to this show right now on your local radio station. We'll be back right after these messages.
For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing because we understand the business of creating relationships is more than an interest rate. Agriculture is a foundation to the community, and we are here to help your operation expand, grow, and continue to the next generation. Talk to our ag lending team today.
out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com. This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's a tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran-owned and operated. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to their next sale coming up Tuesday, September 3rd, is the Brandenburger Retirement Auction out of Jamestown, North Dakota. Then on Thursday, September 5th, they go to Webo, Montana for the Jant Estate Auction. On September 5th, there's 279 acres of cropland in Burleigh County. And on September 11th, an online-only sale for a truck and trailer auction out of Steele, North Dakota. And September 17th, the Hertz Retirement Livestock Equipment Auction out of Bismarck. For more information, go to Pfeifers.com. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger.
I'm Dale Falke with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, where we believe in investing in your business and your community. With our commercial loans, we understand the importance of supporting local businesses to help your business thrive. Choose Dakota Community Bank and Trust, where your success is our priority.
Serving the community, looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors, heard all across the country in great radio stations like KGFX in Pierre, South Dakota, KOLY in Mobridge, K-Fire 550 Bismarck, Mandan, KCJB and Minot, all along the Missouri River basin, all the way up the middle of the Dakotas, and on the western edge on KLTC. I'm Scott Bachman. Good to have you along. John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV is with me, reminiscing on the opening weekend of archery season for, antelope, deer. And now I got to go through some of the stories here, John, before we get into talking about where you're hunting right now.
Okay.
Jesse says, my first gun deer was when he was 15, a Savage Model 99 lever action 22-250. He was hunting with his cousin Neil that lives next to me here. Mule deer buck, first bow deer. The very first bow deer Jesse shot was with me.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, in his late 30s, a white-tailed doe. So,
that's awesome.
And, it doesn't matter what age it is. Sometimes archery starts early or late. My first archery deer was out the back of the CP welding shop in Bowman. I traded, I can't remember how I got it, but I was, when I was in my fighting days, I was at a tournament someplace, and one of the instructors from another school had a compound bow for sale, and I bought it. And we had deer coming in behind the welding shop and machine shop all the time. So I stepped outside the door in my welding clothes, and I killed a deer there. So it was outside of town. It was outside of city limits. Clay says his first rifle deer was a mule deer doe, 16 years old, at his grandpa's place with a 220 Swift, which he still owns to this day. He said Iowa hunters took him out and taught him how to do it, dress it, and process it. So, yeah. So you get these guys, I remember bird hunting and learning how to dress birds with the guys that used to come down hunting at my mom and dad's place. They took me out and did that. So it's crazy. You think about remembering going back, archery, whether it's archery or first rifle deer, and everybody remembers it to this day still. Do you think kids are doing that today? I mean, hunting has changed so much that some of these, do they still remember the excitement of their first deer? And all of us took does, by the way, in our first deer.
I was just thinking about that, Scott, because things were so different back then, is that it meant so much to us. And I think I was talking about the other day, we were talking about all these traveling sports and things like that. These kids are given everything so fast and so often, that I hope that they remember like we do. And that's why when I take kids to the ranch, I want them to have the whole experience. Yeah. Sitting on the hill, watching the deer, shooting, dressing it, having dinner, listening to the dads talking while they're drinking a beer like we used to when we were kids.
Yeah.
And not just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and getting on their phone. And it drives me nuts when these kids, it's like they shoot a deer and then they just get on their phone. And it's not like they're sending pictures there, but they just want to look at their phone. And I'm like, they're missing the whole point of being at deer camp, So I don't know. I sure hope they do, because it meant so much to us. I hope that they remember their first deer.
Yeah. A couple more. One Shot Cap says my first deer was a 3-point whitetail in 1986 archery. Scott Bulgy, he says my first deer was a 243 and completely illegal. That's all I'm going to say about that. But here's a comment here, and that's going to lead us into what we're talking about next year, since it's opening archery. North Dakota Mike says, I've yet to go bow hunting, but he wants to start. And how do you get started? What's the best way to get started in archery? Say you're a little bit longer in age, and you walk into a sporting goods. Say you walk into Shields, and you got these 20-year-old, 22-year-old guys that have hunted everything and gotten big deer, and they know everything there is to know, and you feel a little bit out of place. How do you get into it? How do you find the way, the patience? How do you know what to start with? What brand is cool and not cool? Because, you got those people. It's like Ford and Chevy anymore.
Yeah.
How do you get going in this?
I think it's tough. Well, I shouldn't say it's tougher, but I just remember I would hang out at the archery club. You find somebody that is passionate about it, that wants to pass it on. Cause I think that's the best way.
Yeah.
If you find some kind of a mentor, even if you're 40 years old or 50, talk to someone that's done it. And I think there's a lot of guys that would help somebody get out there and do it. And, the difference between, I think, nowadays and back then, when I bought my first bow, it was probably $100 at Sioux Sporting Goods off the used shelf. And I watch these kids walk in now, and they're buying, $1,500.
Yeah.
They buy the best bow, best gear.
Right.
So, and again, to each his own. Everybody wants to do what they do, but I think it is some guys go out there. I remember Kurt. He learned the hard way. He hunted by himself and with another buddy. His dad didn't hunt or anything, and they shot does for many years. I was lucky that I had a dad that hunted, and he took us out and taught us everything we know. And my brother helped me. He was a bow hunter before I was, even though we grew up shooting bows. I think my first deer was when I was 26 years old, and like I said, it got me hooked on it. And it's just, I don't know. It's just one of those things that it's better late than never, and just get out there and start flinging arrows. And a good place is to go down to the local archery club, because most people are really willing to help and share.
Yeah.
If I'm down there and I see someone doing something that's, they just look like they're struggling, I'm always willing to help. And I'm not an expert, but if they're struggling with something and you see the arrow flopping all over, most guys will step in it and try to help others be successful.
Yeah. Just get after it and do it.
Yeah.
Just get in there, and there's a lot of small archery shops around the areas too. If you walk in there, and you can jump in with some of these other guys, and they'll help you out. They really will.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, there's all kinds of guys that are willing to share what they have learned, and I've enjoyed having guys like Scott Lang. He's 75 or 76. We've hunted with him, and he tells me stories, and I could listen to him all day long. The experiences he's had, he's met Fred Bear, all that kind of stuff. It's just cool. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in everything we do that we forget about those stories and forget about the things that we grew up doing. And like I said, hopefully these kids are not in too big of a hurry, that they're not, that they're going to remember some of the things that their parents did, or like you said, the guys from Iowa teaching you how to clean a bird. Right. Look at how important that was, and they were just something, passing through.
Yeah, exactly. Josh comments, he says, my son went to Raised at Full Draw Camp and took to archery, who loves it. Shot a nice 8-point buck last December. Never shot a bow before that camp. So he says, thanks. Yeah.
And that's why we do it. Like I said, the success stories we see with kids, and it's not even them killing, just getting out, buying their first tag and going bow hunting. Yeah. Getting out there and experiencing it. And that's what that camp is all about. Not just getting the kids shooting a bow. We want them to hunt.
Yeah. And Gene just said I heard in shooting travels, I'd rather help a friend become a champion than be a champion with no friends.
Absolutely.
And
well said.
It is well said, because I get a kick out of helping people get their deer or elk. I really get a kick out of it. And the best part about it is getting it packed out. For some reason, John, I don't understand it, but if you're going to go hunting in Montana, you get an elk tag, you probably plan to hunt in some deep country.
Yep.
When people put in for an elk tag in North Dakota, I don't know what comes over them. Evidently, they've never hunted the Badlands before, but it seems like nobody wants to put the work in and pack it out.
Yeah.
And here I am like, let's do it. Go ahead and take that shot. We can get it out of there, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything in North Dakota there's some tough country, but nothing like being in the mountains where you may not take a shot, because it's like, okay, if I shoot that elk down there, it's going to take me like 2 days to get it out.
Yeah, it will.
And most of the places, even out at your place, it's like, it's going to take a while, but you can usually get it out where you can get a vehicle to the top, and then you don't have to haul it out 8 miles.
Oh, we got some discussion on this coming in the second half, because there's rules and regulations where you can or can't drive even on your own property. And I don't like that side of it, but we'll talk about that and the success you're having already, not only archery hunting on antelope, but getting some deer down here too. We'll talk about that coming up. We'll be back. John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV is my guest, reminiscing about the good old days. And we'll talk about yesterday coming up next, right after these messages.
For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing because we understand the business of creating relationships is more than an interest rate. Agriculture is a foundation to the community, and we are here to help your operation expand, grow, and continue to the next generation. Talk to our ag lending team today.
Community looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com. This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's a tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran-owned and operated. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to their next sale coming up Tuesday, September 3rd, is the Brandenburger Retirement Auction out of Jamestown, North Dakota. Then on Thursday, September 5th, they go to Webo, Montana for the Jant Estate Auction. On September 5th, there's 279 acres of cropland in Burleigh County. And on September 11th, an online-only sale for a truck and trailer auction out of Steele, North Dakota. And September 17th, the Hertz Retirement Livestock Equipment Auction out of Bismarck. For more information, go to Pfeifers.com. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger.
I'm Dale Paulke with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, where we believe in investing in your business and your community. With our commercial loans, we understand the importance of supporting local businesses to help your business thrive. Choose Dakota Community Bank and Trust, where your success is our priority.
Serving the community, looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Good to have you along here on Dakota Prairie Outdoors. Great radio stations across the Dakota Territory. Opening archery season for a lot of folks on the deer side. Archery's been open in South Dakota for a while now, and a lot of success stories. There's no doubt about that. John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV is with me. John, success stories in South Dakota. What's going on there?
In South Dakota?
Yeah.
Well, Shelby, they open up, coming up. They've been antelope hunting out there, and Connor, her boyfriend, I think they've killed 3 antelope in South Dakota, so they've done well, and they're all spot and stock. And
Yeah.
we were in Wyoming opening weekend,
Okay.
and we killed 4 out of 4 in 2 days. Had a great hunt. I mean, it was one of those deals. They were super dry, just like you guys are.
Yeah.
And I almost felt bad because we were sitting we call the honey hole, and I kind of went through my brain one time. I think we've killed 25 out of 28 animals on that one water hole.
Wow.
They just love it because there's alfalfa around it, and it was just one of those deals that we had another great hunt. It's that the ranchers out there have been just absolutely amazing, and I was thinking about it because I think the owners are getting up in the age, and I just I just dread the day that land passes on because it's close enough to town. I think it will get developed.
No.
And I was like, yeah, if I could buy just 1/4 of land in Wyoming, that's where I would buy it, because there's not giant antelope, but there's a ton of antelope, and it's just fun. I mean, I really enjoy it.
The urban sprawl is going to get us all here, John, eventually.
Oh, yeah, things are growing, that's for sure. And out in Gillette, they've grown a lot too.
Yeah. How about in the North Dakota archery season? You sent me the picture.
Yep.
It's a nice. I think it's a stud whitetail.
It is.
It's
this year, Randy Birdsong from Headhunters TV has been coming in.
Look at the bases on this. I'm showing it on my YouTube channel right now. And
7.5-inch bases. Yep.
Good grief.
Yeah, and like I said, Randy's been coming in, and I met this gentleman that does some guiding and outfitting out in the eastern part of the state, and we've become friends. And he has invited us out here to hunt, and so we're hunting out here, and it's something different because Randy's been filming at our place, and I've never not hunted the ranch opening weekend, so a little different for me. But we came out here, and I got here at like 6 o'clock, and we were sitting in at the table. Randy was out hunting, and Shelby was out hunting. Sitting at the table, and Wes got a picture of the deer right in front of where Randy's at, and scrolled over, and you could see Randy in the tree with the cameraman. And we were sitting there, and we were like, is he going to shoot that deer or not? Because we thought it was like maybe 140. And I'm like, well, he'll probably shoot it. But he didn't. It didn't seem like he was shooting it. And then all of a sudden, Randy's wife, Jen, her phone dings, and there was a text. He just freaking laid it down. And he shot 7:30. It was real time when we were so excited, and we got out there and did the recovery in daylight. And then it's absolutely a toad of a deer. I bet it's 230 pounds or so.
Wow.
7.5-inch bases, pure beautiful velvet. We got it. This guy set up. We got in a cooler, a walk-in cooler. He's got it in, and we got it taken care of. And I think we're going to take pictures today and then get them all cleaned up. And yeah, it's been a great hunt so far, and we kind of kicked it off pretty strong.
So you're East River on opening day, which is it's new. And
totally different.
To this day, I said this many times, that the farming country raises big deer.
Huge.
They have good food and abundant food all the time. And a lot of people say, well, you got to have habitat. That is their habitat.
A lot of sloughs, a lot of where we're hunting, a lot of sloughs. And these guys farm for success, not only in farming, because they farm like 12,000 acres. But they put in hundreds of acres of food plots. They put in tree rows. They put in CRP, and this is all stuff that they're not getting paid for.
Yeah.
So they understand the habitat. They're not burning all their sloughs. They'll burn some of them, but they've got a big enough block of land that they do a really good job of taking care of the deer. And honestly, I want to say they probably winter a couple thousand deer on their place, on their properties, and they take care of them. They're out there with their big tractors. And when we have ice storms, they're breaking ground. They're putting oats bales out, alfalfa bales out. They leave corn They have a sportsman club out here and I think this is the greatest idea in the world, and I hope our Game and Fish picks up on it. These guys are paying farmers and farmers out here what going rate is for their cornfield and soybean field to leave crops. And then come springtime, if it was an easy winter, they come in and harvest it, and then they pay the difference. But most of these farmers donate that money back to the sportsman club. But I mean, we know where all the deer winter in North Dakota. They go to the same spots. So why not go to those places, pay the farmers or the ranchers exactly what it's worth, not $1, per acre. If bushel of corn is $4 or $5 and it's 240 bushel of corn, you got to pay him for that. Otherwise, why would he leave it up?
Right.
And as sportsmen, we need to start kicking in money to help that. We can't just, depend on the farmer and rancher to do everything for us without reimbursing them. And I'm a firm believer in that. I'm like, you can't just buy your tags and say you're being a conservationist. You got to help these guys because they're trying to make a living and they're trying to send their kids to college. And you can't blame them if they want to burn a slough when their ground is worth $15,000 an acre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it's fire danger too if you don't take care of some of that undergrowth once in a while and take care of that. You look, it's funny you say that, because I've been inundated with a bunch of cow elk hunters this year that want to come down and take cows, and I have no problem with that. The problem I do have is it's really, really, really dry, and they want to drive around, and I don't want them doing that because I don't want to start a fire.
No, not at all.
I'd say that, so I was in Sioux Falls on Tuesday for an auction sale, and we flew. It is hilarious leaving Bowman and Slope County on an airplane.
I haven't seen the different color change.
The color changes pretty quickly when you get out of Bowman and Slope County. I mean, there's no doubt. It's crazy how wet it is in some areas.
Yeah, when we hit Belfield and went south, it went from, Belfield is not bad.
No, all the way to New England looks pretty good.
Yeah, and then you start going, and when you hit your country, when we go through Bowman and into Buffalo and all the way through South Dakota into Rapid City, it was bone dry.
Mm-hmm.
And then out in Gillette, it was bone dry. When we were out there was a couple fires while we were out there just because there's that lightning strikes.
A couple. Have you looked at the fire map? Holy moly.
No.
That's another thing you guys got to talk about too. So there's this website. If people are headed to Montana to hunt, it's mtfireinfo.org. Okay. If you type that in, it tells you exactly. You go to current fire information. It tells you how many fires are in. And the reason I go to the Montana one is because I'm right on the border and there's a lot of fires that are really, really close to me right now.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you a map. It tells you how many. So there's 71 active fires in Montana right now, 3 brand new ones in the last 24 hours, 58 new ones this week alone. And that includes that Remington fire, which is nearly 200,000 acres now. And you talk about habitat. You see some of these people. I'll get to your phone. There's a phone call coming in. I'll get to it here shortly. Just stay on hold for me. But you see a lot of folks that, they talk about habitat and they got to do this. And, it's healthy to burn this ground. But when you're looking at 200,000 acres, I had a buddy of mine that's in Wyoming that had to go out and help a rancher shoot his cattle herd. Every last one of them, because they were burnt up and still trying to survive. And he had to go out there and shoot his entire herd.
That's terrible.
Think about the deer, the displacement of deer, antelope, elk, bear, whatever. And, but anyway, let's go to a phone call here. John, I'll get off on this here. Let's go. Is this the Brecht family?
Well, it's one of them.
Okay. Because it came in as your wife's number. So at least I could recognize it. I was really hoping to talk to Kim instead of Jamie. But anyway, good morning, Jamie.
I don't blame you there. I don't blame you for that one at all. Hey, good morning, guys. Can I say, I got to bring up something real quick it's totally off topic. I heard John and it reminded me of a conversation I had with one of my buddies not too long ago.
Anytime you call in, I'm guessing we're going off topic.
All right. So a buddy of mine, he grew up here and played football here. I think he played at UND and then he moved to Montana and, well-known tough guy. Nobody wanted to mess with him. handy with the Dukes. And I mentioned he listened to the podcast a while back when John was on with Clayton and I. And you're probably wondering where this is going, but he said, "Hey, ask John if he remembers Barry Bohr." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "Because he goes, I was at a party a long time ago, and he said John was there, and he goes, I thought I was a tough guy, and I didn't know who John was, and apparently they got in a fight, and Barry told me to tell you, John, that you to this day are still one of the toughest guys he's ever threw hands with, and Barry's a well-known tough guy. So not only is John a great hunter, and it was a stud basketball player, he can throw hands too."
Yeah, I remember exactly when it happened, and I had no idea who this kid was, and everybody told me later, "You understand that you just freaking beat a guy that beats bikers up and ain't afraid of anybody." I'm like, he was a kid. I was probably, and I mean, and it was just one of those deals that I learned a long time ago that I never got hit first, and I got him with one punch, and he buckled, and I hit him 2 more times, and that was it. And I stopped because I'm not a guy that's like, I wasn't there to beat him up.
Yep.
And then the next time he saw me, he kind of put it up his Dukes, and we just kind of laughed. I mean, great guy. But that's the way it was.
Yeah.
We had a beer after that. It was a respect thing, and there was never, like I said, I didn't know that he was a tough guy, so he helped my reputation quite a bit.
Yeah,
I got lucky.
Barry is a great guy.
Yep, I got lucky. So you make sure you tell him hi. And like I said, I'm glad I didn't have to fight him again.
Will do. Yeah, and Bear likes he likes to hunt and shoot. I mean, he's just a guy like we are. He's he's got his own business. I don't know what he takes. He likes to watches people who are under witness protection. How the hell he ever got into doing that is beyond me. But he does it now, and he likes it. So
cool.
That's my story for the day. And I saw your buddy Birdsong's buck. Man, that thing is awesome. That was unbelievable to get that and then an opening day like that. If you hear some noise, actually, I'm in my garage packing up right now. I'm heading to the ranch. I'm gonna do some bull hunting tonight and tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening, and we'll see what happens for me. So,
good luck, buddy, man.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jamie. Appreciate the call. You bet.
You bet, guys. Have a good one.
888-932-5682. That's 888-932-5682. Let's go to our next caller here. And it says Pam, but I doubt. Is this Pam?
This is not Pam.
Yeah, it came in as Pam, though. What's your first name?
Okay. Hey, this is Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, you're on with John. What's going on today?
Yeah, great show, John and Scott. Like always, keep up the good work. It's a good program. Say, like you're talking about family and stuff. I'm in my mid-60s, and my dad passed away when I was 14 years old. And I have one memory of him taking me out road hunting for pheasants. That's all I got. And when my son came into life, I said, I promise you that we'll have more than that. And I'll tell you what, we've got hundreds of them.
Great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it is so important. If you got kids, get them out there, do something with them. It'll keep them out of the other crap that goes on in this world. And you'll never, ever forget those memories. And when we're gone, they got those memories. So
absolutely. So, Jeff, let me ask you this. So you take your kids out. Do you ever take them to different landowners and teach them how to talk to landowners?
Oh, yes, we have.
Good.
We had a ranch to hunt on for like 30-some years, and it changed hands because of death in their family. And we went and talked to the new owners, and we told them how long a relationship we have with that rancher, and they grandfathers in to let us hunt again.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's the thing that needs to be taught more and more to those kids. Yeah,
absolutely. Get out there and do more than what you want to do. Give back to the ranchers, farmers. Appreciate it. Enjoy yourselves.
Hey, thanks for the call. Thank you so much. I
appreciate
that.
You bet.
Yeah, those are the calls I'd love to get there, John. We got one more here on there. Let's go to Jesse calling in. Thanks for waiting on there, Jesse. Appreciate it. We got 3 calls in a row for you.
Oh, that's all right. It's good to hear the public call in with stories like that.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, I was calling in since Jamie got you guys off topic. I'm not going to go deep into this, but it might be a good show for next week. I've had a number of people come out to my place to shoot, and getting some phone calls and texts and messages asking about with just 2.5, 3 weeks away here. We have the youth season opener coming up for rifle. Getting a lot of questions about what calibers to use for these young kids. How small can a guy go and still be safe to take a deer down? How big can I go without freaking my kid out as far as the gun caliber and recoil and sound? And it's been some interesting conversations with a few different people. So
what have you found out? John, what's the caliber you would send people to start with a 12 to 14-year-old kid? What would you say?
Like I said, I grew up on a 243. There's not a lot of recoil. I killed a ton of deer with that 243. Never had any problems. So I think it's a great caliber for a kid. And nowadays, I would tell people as fast as you can, I would go down to one of the sporting goods store and get a suppressor and put it on whatever gun you have, and it's just going to make their experience 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
Because and as fast as you can get them, the turnaround now 2 days is insane.
Nah, 2 days. Well,
I got mine in 2 days.
No,
buddy. 2 days. Went into Shields.
What black market backwoods alley did you get yours out of?
I can't believe this. I went in there and my buddy's like, "Hey, we got some new suppressors." I said, "Yeah, I got a couple," but I said, "I ain't waiting." He goes, "Oh, it's gotten a lot better." I said, "How many months?" He goes, "Not maybe 2 weeks. Some guys get them in 2 days." I said, "You're kidding me."
Yeah.
So I bought it, and so the Shields does everything. This is not a plug for Shields because I did my first ones at Mandan, and he did an awesome job. But now Shields, you go in there, everything's electronic. They pay for everything. They pay for your stamp. And 2 days later, I got an email saying I was approved. And I went in on the third day and picked up my suppressor.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. But okay, so before we run out of time on the radio side here, we'll continue on the YouTube. But Jesse, the caliber that you'd send youth to?
I agree with John. I mean, that either 243 or some sort of a 6mm, the old 6mm Mauser, the new 6mm Creedmoors, even anything in that 243 cartridge family, your 257 Roberts, your 7mm08, any of those calibers that are in that size of actual cartridge are great. You know, my first call I got was from a buddy that all of a sudden he's got 3 daughters hunting, which is great in itself, but he's running out of guns. He wanted to know if I thought a 22-250 was enough for his youngest daughter to take a whitetail doe with. And I said, absolutely. I took my first mule deer buck with the 22-250. So it is. It's just it's an interesting conversation, especially for him and I. We've both got all girls, and that changes things. I mean, my oldest daughter, I'll put her behind anything because she's big enough. My youngest daughter, she's a little girl. You know, she's going to have to start on something smaller.
So and then, too, just getting that gun to fit them. So they're not like, because that's where you get the recoil and things when the gun doesn't fit. And then it's hard sometimes because you end up buying a gun that's going to last just for a little bit. But as cheap as guns are now, you know, $300, you can get a good a 243 and put a few $100 scope on it. And you got a pretty good gun.
Yeah. That or John, don't be afraid to take that great old gun you've got and call a company like Boyd Stocks or there's a bunch of different stocks companies out there and just restock that gun for $150 so that they can use it for 3-4 years and then put the original stock back on it and away they go.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
A couple of comments. North Dakota Mike says, I started all my kids off with a 270, girls or boys. The Mayor Mobridge says, I started
a lot of gun there.
Sarah's
that thing kicks like a mule.
No, it doesn't. It's
the 270
yes, it does.
That was my go-to. My Gene Cox down in Mobridge says Sarah's first youth deer was taken with an SKS. So there you are. Anyway, you guys stay on the line with me. We're going to continue on to the YouTube side. John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you every single time. It's opening archery season. Eat some meat, drink some milk, wear fur and wool, and thank a farmer rancher. They're the ones out there having it all done for you. Have a good weekend. All right, stations, thank you. Appreciate it. Give you a couple seconds here to make sure I get turned off. Gentlemen, welcome to the after show.
So, this is where everything happens.
I just want to know if John, I have been in a situation like you are in right now where I went to a place to hunt there for the first time, and you know this guy. I was in Jesse Meyer's shop, and let me tell you, I want to know if you had multiple 175s gone and an Indian leg wrestling tournament at 3 a.m. going, because that's what we did.
So I'm going to tell this story. All right. So, John, we're going back to my mom's place to go deer hunting, and Jesse's bringing some guy, okay, he has a doe tag. So he's like, well, I brought my camper down. We're at Jesse Meyer's place. We're sitting in there. That's where we're going to be. And I had an event I had to MC in McIntosh, and I drove up from there, and I got there about 11:30 midnight or so, and I walk into this shop, and I have never seen the most drunkest card players in my life. All right, except Jesse Meyer, not Flath. Meyer is sitting there like, no big deal. I do this every day of my life type of thing, right? And we get going, and we're talking. Pretty soon they're Indian leg wrestling, and this guy that Jesse brought down, his eyes are getting so damn squinty, I don't even think he can see out of the things anymore. So we get to bed at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I wanted to wake up at 5 so we could go, because we had to walk and hike into the buttes to get where we wanted to get to go hunting. And we had 45 minutes of sleep. Jesse's air bed that he put me on went flat, and I'm laying on the heat register. And we get up and we walk out there, and both Jesse and this guy, we hike in, and within 10 minutes, both of them are snoring and sawing logs, and we're trying to be hunting at the same time. And it worked. The biggest damn whitetail I've ever shot came walking right around the front of us. And I shot him right there. Yeah, we had a Friends of NRA event in McIntosh that night. And Clay says he remembers. God, I'm walking in on these guys, Indian leg wrestling and spraining back muscles.
I was going to say, that sounds like a right there, boy.
It was a good time.
We got 3 deer that day.
Yeah.
Hey, I sat in the buggy with Randy's deer, holding its head up for like going through all kinds of stuff, and my back and my butt hurts from sitting on that thing. It's like my body don't bend anymore, and it's like,
oh, I suppose, John, trying to preserve that velvet. I never thought of that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, it's pristine, and
it looks nice.
I'm sure he's gonna mount that one, because it's like, it's his biggest. It's just, again, I was flabbergasted, and then there's bigger deer here, and it's just kind of crazy, the difference in deer.
Yeah. Yeah, we're very lucky to have an archery tag that we can go anywhere in the state.
Oh, yeah. It is. And I think it's going to change, though. I think they're going to do something out west, which I don't disagree with.
Yeah.
We got
there's too much traffic out here.
Yeah. And again, I hope that there's something I would like to give. If you own, well, I guess you get but if you own land out there or live out there, to me, you should have a little bit of precedence over the guys from out east coming to hunt there, but I don't know if they'll do that.
No. Quick question. What does John recommend for preserving the velvet until you get into the taxidermist?
So go to Shields, or I don't know if Mandan Sporting Goods Store, they should have it. It's called Velvet Lock. And it works. It's a spray, and one bottle will spray and preserve 180-inch deer. So I bought 2 just in case I shoot a really big deer. but Randy shot that one last year at our place, and so we put it in the freezer. And Jake from JB's Wildlife, his taxidermy, he uses that stuff, and that's how he preserved Randy's velvet, and it looks great.
Yeah.
So when I first saw it, I thought this is kind of hokey, but it works.
Jesse's got a velvet buck down in south of Rame he still hasn't picked up yet.
Yeah, a year and a half ago. Almost 2 years ago. 2
years ago. Now.
We got to go get that.
If we go get it, we're not coming back for a while.
I know, that's the problem. there's another story about having beverages and playing beanbag games all night.
Jesse gets his first velvet buck, John, and we take it down to a guy right away because you got to get it taken care of. And we ended up drinking beers, having supper, ribs, and playing beanbag toss, or what do they call that stupid game now?
Cornhole.
Yeah, cornhole. We played cornhole until like 2 a.m. So,
Yeah, that's you know, I was telling those guys when I got down here last. I just wanted to get down here I didn't care about sitting last night. I could have probably sat, but I just wanted to get to camp and enjoy it because I enjoy it. Sometimes I'd like to be a guy that doesn't hunt at all and just sits around and talks about it because it's so much fun.
Absolutely.
I enjoy it. Some of the best times is sitting after the hunt and having that beer or beverage or whatever you want to call it and just sitting there BSing about it. That's usually when I get my best interviews too.
Yeah.
Well, and that's like what all the memories are made of. I mean, the actual hunt itself, the kill itself, all of that is great. But what are most of the stories we've been talking about now? The shop party afterwards, the beanbag toss, the going to see the taxidermist and showing up, and he just doesn't really want you to leave because he doesn't want to work on deer yet. So you stay till 2 a.m.
Yeah. And that, you know, I've said that because I've been, you know, filming for 20 some years. I've only shot a couple animals by myself and I hate it.
Yeah.
There's no one there to high five. There's no one to share it with. I like that.
That's right.
Sharing. And I'd sooner run a camera for someone else and watch them kill something than me kill something by myself.
So Brian Water just brought something up that I forget to talk about every once in a while is the biggest get together that most people have, even to this day, I think it still happens this way, is when you're processing that deer up with your friends or your family.
Oh yeah.
You know, making that sausage and jerky, and that's a big day. That's a big get together as well.
You know, we used to do it. We don't do it anymore. My dad, I remember we'd go to, I think it was Ron Burkhartsmeyer. He was like in heating and air, and he had this big shop, and they had all the pressures and everything, and there'd be 20 guys, all these kids, and we spent all day, all night doing that, you know?
Yeah.
And now I just take mine to a processor because I'm always in a hurry.
And we do a lot of sampling when we make ours.
Oh yeah.
We got a hot plate. We're always snacking, and when you get the summer sausage out of the smoker, you got to cut the ends off and wrap them, and oh my God. Yeah.
That's how you come up with the best recipes. Because I remember my uncles, he'd fry it, and we'd taste it, and then he'd change the ingredients. You know.
Yep.
And that always had something a little bit a year.
Yeah. Hopefully this year, I cross my fingers. This is the most tags I've ever had in my life. So I'm crossing my fingers we can get successful. It's been busy. Starting yesterday already, I tried to take my dogs. I'm trying. I'm getting in shape, as they say, because I always think round's a shape, but nobody says that works. But so I take my dogs on a run yesterday, and man, there's traffic coming up and around these roads. I gotta start closing some gates up here, I guess.
Yeah, it's gonna
busy.
It's gonna get busy like it always does.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see here. Every year I can still hunt with my dad. It makes it special. He's 74. Good. Gene Cox says, I can't say cornhole without having that thought either. I agree. Josh says, I enjoy being out deer hunting with my son. It's just two of us out there sitting on a hill watching and waiting. Bird hunting will go with friends. And remind me, what are the rules on carrying a pistol when you bow hunt? Yeah, whatever. Didn't they change that? You can do that now, I thought.
Yeah, they changed something, but I don't remember exactly what it is.
Yeah, but you can't carry a freaking. Remember when we were doing? I think.
Yeah.
We did an interview, and I was sitting. We were bow hunting, and I had a rifle with me.
Yeah.
And that's the law.
Yeah, you can't have a rifle because you can't coyote hunt and bow hunt at the same time.
And I don't understand these rules. It's like, you know, we were talking about it, like now you can't. This guy where we're hunting, he's got night vision, and he goes, we can't go out and hunt a night vision unless
you're a rancher, whatever, doing. I said, why? He goes, well, it's over. I said, why is it over? Why is it this time of year?
Thank you.
And he goes, I don't know, maybe they think you're going to shoot a big velvet buck. I said, well, you know what? You're going to shoot a big velvet buck no matter what, if it's legal or not. It's illegal.
Right.
So what would make you stop from doing it? The rules are so dumb because it's made for one bad guy, and it affects all us guys that could be doing something positive.
Just think about
all
that.
All it does is keeps the honest people honest.
Yeah. The thing about it, though, is right now with all the pups, you take that gut pile that you just did with that deer and sat over that with night vision, I guarantee you would have shot like 7-8 coyotes last night. Guaranteed.
Yeah. And they kill a ton of coyotes up. I didn't realize, but I guess you never see them because there's crops everywhere, but they're everywhere. He said, I'm trying to think in the wintertime, they shot a couple hundred of them off some cows, and they just, if you shoot, they just keep coming in.
Yep.
He says, then a new one will come in, and then another new one. And I'm like, I didn't realize that there was that many coyotes out in this country.
There's a ton of them here. A couple more. Dove season opens tomorrow in North Dakota, so I'm excited for that. I don't know why. I like dove hunting. In South Dakota, you can carry a pistol while archery hunting only if you have a concealed permit.
Well, that's just stupid.
I just found the new regulations for North Dakota. I haven't found the pistol thing yet, but I found something else that I didn't know. Telescoping sights, range-finding devices, or other electronic devices attached to the bow or the arrow are not permitted. Exception: battery-powered or electronically lighted sights that do not project light, lighted knocks, and recording devices which do not aid in range-finding, sighting, or shooting the bow are permitted. So you can have
I
fiber optic lit sights.
I covered that story here a month ago.
Yeah, it just came out.
Oh, okay, I must miss that.
But like I said, every had one on their bow because every sight has a light on it.
Yep. Yeah, every one of them, you have that little adapter on top. You can put them in.
Yep.
But I think in North Dakota, you can carry a pistol, but you can't use it in recovery or any of that. But I think you can carry a pistol with you.
Yeah. Because
the archery with a rifle. So if you had a rifle, John, and you had a bow with you, what's the difference of taking what if you were a coyote hunting with your bow?
I don't know.
Right.
Like
I mean,
I just, it's kind of, I don't know how they get made because it's like, you're a rancher or whatever. You carry a rifle all the time.
All the time. And a pistol all the time.
Yeah. And again, I carry, you got a concealed weapon. Doesn't mean you shoot things. It's like, holy crap. It's like, if I'm going to be illegal, there's no rules or regulations that's going to make it just because they say I carry a rifle. If I wanted to shoot a deer with my rifle illegally, their law is not going to stop me. I just don't understand some of our laws that we have.
Here's your answer, John, on the night vision. So it's at the very bottom of this page I'm on. The use of night vision equipment, electronically enhanced light gathering optics, or thermal imaging equipment for locating or hunting big game is illegal. So they don't want you using it to locate them the night before or early in the morning before you go out bow hunting. That's why they shut it off before the season.
Yeah.
Which, again, they're only keeping the honest people honest because that the ones that were going to do it for that reason they're still doing it anyway, whether the law's there or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not finding anything specific to carrying a firearm here. I'm surprised. I thought they put something in there about
there's
that.
Something in there. I think it's that's the tough part is finding these rules is not easy to find sometimes.
No.
Because you got to go not only on the proclamation, but then there's century code rules too. And then you got to go into the century code and find those out.
I found out this year, I've been illegal for the last 4 or 5 years in Wyoming. They don't allow cell cameras.
They don't allow what?
Cell cameras. Trail cameras. Cellular trail cameras in Wyoming.
Oh, in Wyoming.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's certain states that are dead set against those cell cameras, yeah.
And I would have never thought that. And a guy said, "Hey, I don't want you to get in any trouble." So I'm like, you're kidding. And then I called the Game and Fish out there, and she goes, no, you can use it as long as you're not doing this and this and this. And I'm like, this doesn't sound right. So, and I called the warden and I talked to him afterwards. I said, hey, I just want to be clear on this. I said, we do this for a living. And I said, I had cell cameras up, but we check them before we hunt. I said, so it's not like we're using them to find animals. I said,
Right.
I pulled all of them down, and he was real nice, but he goes, if that would have been me, he goes, you guys wouldn't have got any trouble, but it is against the law to run cell cameras before the season, during the season. I said, well, I'll never do it again. I said, we always go check all of them because most of the places the cell cameras don't work anyway. They send one picture, every so often because the signal's so bad. But yeah, I had no idea.
So Brian Wannard messaged back. He says, I thought North Dakota was like South Dakota with a concealed carry permit in North Dakota too.
Well, I just know that when the mountain lion thing, people were panicked about mountain lions, so they wanted to be able to carry a gun.
Yeah.
Right.
Bow hunting.
Well, the one I'm carrying right now is not going to help me in archery at all because it's filled with 22 bird shot for snakes, and I carry that with me everywhere I go. Josh says, not sure if any of you guys know, but can a 15-year-old hunt with a firearm alone? It says anyone under 15 has to have direct supervision. So if you're 15 and over, can you hunt by yourself? I mean, besides bird and coyote hunting, we're talking deer hunting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure either.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wish the Game and Fish would want to come back on again because they made it very, very direct that they did not want to come on with me ever again.
They're not doing anything anymore, and it's because they said
they're doing some stuff with Michael Bell on K-Fire. They do with him.
Do they take calls?
That I'm not sure of because I haven't listened for a long, long time.
No, I've tried to listen to that guy. I don't know anything about the guy, but I struggle.
I do too.
It sounds like he tries to act like he's for North Dakota. I don't know enough about him.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after we get this is a separate conversation if you want to hear my thoughts.
Yeah.
I was on one time and he refuses to have me on anymore.
Oh, right. You told me about that, Scott. I forgot. Yeah. Anytime someone won't go on the radio and answer questions when you're a public servant, there's something wrong. Because like I said, what's his name? Steve from that was our county commissioner or city commissioner.
Yeah.
He went on there all the time and he took heat all the time, but he answered the question. That's his job.
It is the job. Yeah, absolutely.
And the game needs to work on their perception. Like I said, I don't think that whole CWD thing it wrecked a lot of things in the trust, and they got to somehow build that back up. And I think part of it would be just talking on the radio and talking to people.
Well,
because
kind
of the stuff that are on your show or on KFYR was always positive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the thing, we never like outlined what we're going to talk about. And I think that was one thing. I mean, there's plenty of things. It doesn't matter. It would be nice to get some of these answered in different formats. Clay says, I think they're on 1270 with Bakken once in a while. And, well, that's nice for people that live in Bismarck, Mandan, I guess.
So if you send them an email, they wouldn't go on with you?
No, the whole department has blacklisted me.
Huh.
So, let's see. They took calls yesterday for the Game and Fish. Evidently, they were on yesterday. In South Dakota, youth tag can hunt alone. A mentor tag has to be under direct control. Let's see here. Darren says he's a mess. And North Dakota Mike, their CWD agenda is out of control. No doubt. And I'm going to try to talk about that next week. And I think I'm going to try to see if Dusty can come on. And
I was talking.
Yeah.
Bird said in Missouri they're shooting deer. And
stupid.
Yeah, it is. And they were doing it. A guy was saying up in Canada that if there's the reason the population is down because they're shooting all the deer because they're trying to kill off squirrel.
Yeah.
Excuse me. All right, I found the youth deer for North Dakota.
That's why you're so
residents
quiet.
Residents who turn age 11, 12, or 13, Atlas white-tailed deer only. Residents who turn age 14 or 15, any deer is legal. No unit restrictions except units, blah, blah, blah. Special license is required to hunt antlered mule deer. Those possessing, I got to get down to where, okay, each youth hunter must be under direct supervision, must be able to have unaided verbal contact of an adult who is prohibited from carrying a firearm or a bow while accompanying the youth hunter during the youth season. So until you're 15, so basically what I'm reading here is you got to be 16 before you can hunt alone.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's too bad. Some of these kids have more
Sure.
grown up at age 14, 15 than some 30-year-olds are.
Yeah.
My
I
son
did
was
not
in the
know that you
lottery.
cannot-
He's passed the youth tag stuff for deer. Okay.
Yeah, if you're in the basic, I'd say that's the good dividing factor. If you got your tags through the normal lottery, you're good to go.
Right.
If it's a youth tag of any kind, you have to have supervision.
Right.
That's the way I'm interpreting it.
And that would make sense. I mean, right.
It would.
I mean, that's just an easy way to look at it that way.
One thing I didn't know, that you can't, the youth gun season is during the bow season, but if I'm out with Karina and she's hunting her white-tailed doe, according to the Game and Fish website, I cannot even carry my bow with me.
No, you cannot. No.
I did not know that.
They don't trust anybody. It's, again,
well, what if I'm out there hunting with her and I'm in a tight area and we all know how the bucks are when they get into rut, which they shouldn't be in rut yet, but Karina takes her white-tailed doe and we sit there nice and quiet waiting to make sure it's dead, and that buck circles around and comes back in and it's a nice buck. It'd be sweet if I could get a stab at that buck with my bow.
Well,
but apparently that's not not what they're thinking.
Why? Because if you have a tag, why couldn't you carry you have a tag for a deer? It'd be different if you didn't
tag in a legal season. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said,
that's why.
Very strange.
That's why we talk about it and they make the rules.
Yeah, I feel like I said I wish.
I'm sure there's something we're not thinking about. I don't know.
Yeah. There might be a reason somewhere along the line. Well, folks, you guys have a good weekend. I'm going to go out and get my morning start. I got to try to get a loader on my tractor here because somebody's coming down next week to help me haul hay, and I am not prepared yet.
Well, thanks again.
Yeah. On, buddy. Hey, take a nap and get rid of that. Pickle juice helps with the hangover.
I'm feeling good.
Did you notice, Scott? Did you notice how much better John sounds at the end of the show than he does at the beginning? I'm glad we can help your hangover out.
I went to bed at 3:00.
Good stuff.
When you answered the phone this morning on YouTube before the show, I started laughing immediately. I knew that you were either sick, one way or the other.
I'm getting a little bit of a cold, and it's like I was just sitting there, and I was like, it just takes a little while to warm up the voice,
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
All right. Sure, man.
All right. Jesse, next week, this week, next week, still next week. Yeah, I got to get the loader on. I got to get my skid steer. I don't have stands for my loader, so I got to use my skid steer to lift my loader up and put it on my tractor. So it's going to be a lot of one-person job today. It's going to probably take
that's a son of a gun.
3 hours for me to get my loader on.
Why don't you just wait till I'm down there and we can do it together?
Because I want to make sure all the hoses are okay and nothing blows up, so I don't have to drive into town while we're supposed to be hauling hay.
All right.
Looks like we all need to work on
here when you hang her up.
I got a boogie out. Okay. All right. See you, Jesse. I'll call you in a bit.
Yeah, bye.
YouTubers. Thanks, guys. Appreciate everybody sticking with me and having a little fun. Have a good day. Enjoy it. Looks like it's windy here at the ranch today, so it'll keep the bugs off. I'm off to haul silage. Chopping season. I miss chopping. I miss chopping season. I miss the smell of chopped corn is what I miss. Maybe that if I get my load around, maybe I can go find somebody that needs help today. Have a good one. See you, YouTubers.